I should just get like a pre-Steam message while I'm trying to stream, while I'm trying to get stuff click through. Could be like Kitty. Okay, it could be Kitty. All right. I have done a bit on this. What have I done on this since last time? I think there's much done. Okay. What did I do? I think. Oh yeah, I put the R-wing on this shot as a boat. So that was a quick little ad. Oh, I finished. I don't think he was done last time.
This shit's worse than teaching health class.
So now he's done. Oh, I added that. I'm curious how it's going to render, or not render, but how it's going to look in post. But I'm thinking what I'm going to do is all these text I'm not going to render. I'm going to put that in post, even if it's just to load the same image. But I want to leave it out for now. But that, yeah, this must be on. It must be on shuffle. It doesn't say it's on shuffle. No, it didn't play the. It didn't do my playlist. That's fine because this song's amazing. I think one of the main things I did in this, other than finishing Nergigante and then putting just R-wing here, was I did clean up. There was a lot of these shots that if I went outside the normal view range, like even this one, I could probably still clean out a couple of these blocks here. I'll probably do that right now. But the main reason I had to do that was the processing time for some of these, or like if I hit play, it was dropping to a pretty low frame rate, which means it was just working really hard, and that means that the render times are going to be pretty nasty when it comes around to doing that. It's difficult because this line, the camera isn't accurate because of these bars. So by doing cleanup now, the preview actually runs way better. For instance, like this shot used to run crap. Now it actually runs pretty good. But I figured that was because I had 3 times as many trees here, and I had the full thing of concrete. As soon as I got rid of those, the process it got way faster. So I think that preview is now it's a 24, 25, which is about what the render's going to be. This can get rid of because I'm not actually cutting that shot anymore. So I think that a lot of it was just efficiencies, so that we'll speed up the render a lot. Because I don't think this will be a very long render, but I don't want to have it like where I wake up in the morning after doing an overnight render and it's still going. So I think I shouldn't have that issue now. So the main things I still have to do now are just these pretty simple ones. So, I think this one I did the lip syncing. No, I didn't do that one. Oh yeah, this one. I did do this one. Why isn't that one colored? I think these ones I don't want shaky cam. So, but yeah, this one's done. I swear I marked it. Yes. I got one right here, but
I appreciate it.
I don't know where the blue one went. You ate it?
I did. I ate it. It was delicious. It tasted like blue.
Blue is my favorite flavor.
I have a very healthy mix here. I have broccoli and whiskey Coke. I'm eating my veggies.
I had lots of veggies earlier. So yeah, I think it's just these 4 shots then to get done. These 2 would be easy. This one's actually going to be pretty easy too, because he's not really doing much. This is going to be the complicated one, which means I want to get these 3 done first. Mainly because I can start the render then. If there's continuous shots, it makes it a lot easier. So that's what I'm going to do now.
Hey, here's a boat.
This broccoli's not bad, but it's past its prime.
It's extra ripe.
Floured a little bit.
That boat. That boat. That boat.
I think I'm gonna. I want to grab his teeth here. Let's see if we can keep him like that a little longer. That still went quick. I want to keep him in this state a lot longer. Oh, that's why it didn't work. Need this one too.
Wait, what is that? I keep seeing a flash up. That is a spaceship. That's Star Fox's spaceship.
It's a boat. It's a space boat.
Star Fox.
I didn't know what to do there for a quick one, so I did that.
Well, it is a reference, and I'm sure a lot of people will get it. I am right in assuming that's Star Fox, right? Because I've never actually played the Star Fox game.
Yes. Do you know what it's called?
No.
Take a guess.
Is it called Fox? Because that would be too obvious.
No.
I played the one.
It has a similar naming convention to what you could see from Star Wars.
See, I played the one for the Super NES. I don't think I beat it, and I'm trying to remember if they said the name now.
What is Pepe's famous line?
Barrel roll?
No.
Do a barrel roll?
No, that wasn't Pepe.
That was the frog, right?
Yeah, that was Pepe is, I think, the frog, but it's the old guy. I can't remember his name. It
I
says
remember
that.
there being a frog, a rabbit, a fox, and a wolf.
There's a falcon.
Oh, right. I forgot about the falcon.
You know what his name was?
Falcon?
No, close.
Blue falcon?
No.
That guy.
Sure.
The falcon.
The Falcon.
Yeah.
Sure. He can be the Falcon. The Falcon.
Well, that was the guy from Sub-Zero. Was Captain. The guy from Sub-Zero.
There we go. I need to check something here, but anyway.
Are you going to tell me his name, or am I
No.
gonna be left to
No.
suffer?
It's Falco. You haven't figured out the name of the ship yet. He said what? It's of the same naming convention as Star Wars basically uses.
It was like Red One or something.
No,
Wasn't that the
that's
Star Wars?
that's the name of specific ones. But what is the model's named?
Blue Phoenician.
Have you ever seen Star Wars?
Yeah, it's like the X-wing, Y-wing stuff.
Yeah, so it's like
like,
a similar naming convention.
but is it furry based? Because I mean, like, isn't that what furries?
No,
Like, or is this like the Yif Wing? Or
yes,
I knew I'd get it.
It only take off if you put on its furry headphones with the little ears.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it refuses.
I mean, that makes sense. Only furries can fly it.
That would make sense. Oh, I just wanted to do something quick here.
Furries in space. That's what Star Fox is.
So yeah, so I want to do this one, but the nice thing is I can save some time because one of the main things he says is boat. So I'm just going to copy the whole line here.
Here's a
I'm gonna grab this one first. There's a little bit of a twist I might grab the other one. The twist worked in the other one. From this angle, it doesn't work so much in. So I'm going to grab this Rathalos' saying of boat. That was actually... That's perfect timing. Yep. Okay, so the... Oh, is this gonna be... Yeah, I can't. He can't just have his mouth locked like that.
He looks like he needs to brush really bad. His teeth are all black.
Oh, it's... His lips gained some default positioning from the other one I don't want to use. So I'm just going to move it a little bit to get back where it needs to be, at least close enough. Okay, kind of. Still has a little bit like in here. There we go. So oops, do not want all those. We'll do that, and we'll do a little bit of lip out too. Okay. Oh, blurred. Oh, okay. I have to look into that. It's supposed to.
Blur, you gotta help me. What's the name of Star Fox's Yif ship?
The Yif-wing? That's what you called it?
Yes.
He doesn't know what...
I don't know Star Fox that
He doesn't know what this thing is called.
The Yif-wing.
He's
What's
saying
the
it's called
name?
the Yif-wing.
I don't know its name, so I've been calling it the Yif-wing.
You don't know it? Oh my
Not
god.
enough Star Fox fans here, man.
You don't need to be a fan. It's a classic.
I need to know something about it.
I think the
to know
best...
name of the
Oh, I guess I didn't select the actual scene, but... No, it is called the R-Wing. AR-Wing.
ship. The AR.
Yeah. I don't know if it's an abbreviation or not, because there's no hyphen. It's just R-Wing.
So it's R-wing, not AR-wing.
AR-Wing.
Oh, okay.
R-Wing. When I said it. It's no hyphen. It's just R-Wing.
AR-wing. Okay. Not so it is an R-wing, not...
Not like Star Wars, but it sounds exactly the same as a Star Wars type naming convention. I did play with Twitch a lot today. So it's now, instead of channel points, it's cups of coffee in the corner. And I added animations now for subscriber, follower, and donation and bits, I think. So that took me like a lot of today because I had to go and like steal some of my old stuff and green screen it. But yay, it works. So yes, that stuff was added. But thank you, Blurt.
Your name was red for a second.
Because he hit the button for being helpful. You should try hitting that button.
I don't have a button. You didn't give me a button. I need a button.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the green screen part of it worked with it. There's 3 different ones. Two of them are Rainbow Dash and one is Derpy. But Derpy only pops up if there's bits or donations.
Give me a second. So
I had this feeling while I was working on it that all it was going to be was all the work I'm putting into this, Michael's going to pay for it.
It's going to take me a minute to get Derpy.
It's only up there for like 5 seconds.
So what's the minimum donation required?
Anything. As far as I know, I don't know if there's a limit or not.
Okay.
I hope that was broken now.
Yeah. So where you're gonna get money from me. So. Let's see. I think I come here for you. It's all for Derpy now.
And then the rainbow. Oh yeah, there's a follower. It's rainbow saluting, and then if it's Derpy, it's her doing her type thing. But I had a different angle for it because it wasn't working, and she was actually a hassle to get working because I had to redo the whole thing. So, but yes, I think there's. Oh, and I was looking into the subscriber.
Wait, do you have to buy bits now? Is that the only way to do it?
Yeah, it's a money thing, or just donating money directly. But I don't know how that works. Well, because when I first started on here, alerts weren't even a thing. Like, and I was using just standard OBS. Alerts were added later, and through like other software that I wasn't using. So when I got Streamlabs, it was more of for the convenience of being able to edit the title before the stream. That was it. I never looked at anything past that. So yeah, I just added it now. But no, there's like what do they call them? Subscriber little icons that you can get to. I looked into that, but I couldn't figure out the best way to make something that progressed how I'd want it, and that was small enough. So I ended up not doing anything with that. But I spent like 2 hours playing around with it, but never actually went anywhere with it. But I spent a lot of time on the other stuff, though, because I wanted to get the flashies. Okay. You're really determined.
I'm trying to figure this out. I'm old. Did you see the glasses?
Did you have to put them on to see your phone?
I mean, I can see my phone better with them. I don't have to have
It's supposed to be for like your I wanted to call them zoomies, but your the bifocals.
Bifocals?
You got to get yourself some cheaters. Cheaters, that's the name I'm thinking of.
Like, if I don't have my glasses on, I do have to bring my phone closer to my face.
You're younger than me.
Yeah, but like.
Yeah, but your body's a lot older.
Aw. Thanks, pal.
It's been through some shit.
It has. That's true. I don't know how to do this.
I don't know, teeth. My teeth, that's fine as it is. No, I do want pucker. See? Oh, wait, bits? Oh, no, bits don't work. I guess it's just donations. I can change it. No, hold on. We can fix it for you. I have it on default. I don't have it on that one though. And actually, I don't have the volume down on that either.
Why would you want to turn the volume down?
It's for the other audio. Wow, that's way up there. Yeah, that's at like 80. I don't want it at 80. Alert duration. Yeah,
what?
We're not.
20. That's like milliseconds.
No, it was at 2 minutes.
2 minutes of derpy.
No, I think she's like 6.
Okay, give her at least 10 seconds.
No, because the animation isn't that long.
It loops.
No, it doesn't. Well, I didn't make it so it would loop. There, I at least updated the single bit so you can see your derpy. Oh, it just didn't work now. See, this is my plan. Oh, it should be. Yes. It's supposed to work. Might have to look into the
Maybe
bit
I
one.
have to do at least 10 bits.
No, that's just the other thing. Or it might not save changes, and I don't know, because it showed the one. I don't know. It's something to still play with. I'll have to play around with that. So derpy it doesn't 100% work. What do you?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I'll play around with it. Why is it a heart? Is that some new thing right now, or is that something you put in there?
I didn't put it in there. It was
Okay.
there.
No, I put it as the default, and I thought that would have been.
Why is your coffee mug got more points like on it? Your little coffee mug, it's got like points next to it and they keep going up. I don't know what that means.
It's because that's the new thing I added. It's the not the channel points. It always went up before, but now I made it themed, where it's coffee cup, and you get coffee cups. Okay, and let's pull his teeth in. Okay, I think I need the pucker to pull back in a little bit there. And I'm gonna have that jaw pull a little bit more back like that. Oh, that's the right angle, yeah. Okay, this one needs to make sure that the mouth actually closes for the B. Why do you have those?
Because I spent bits.
Oh. I was going to say bad Michael.
I hacked your account. Just over here on my phone, hacking Twitch.
Get out of my stream. I'm going to ban you.
No, I gave points. And I didn't get a derpy. But that's
Like,
okay.
so, hold on.
No, not that derpy. That derpy's wrong.
No, I got rid of that one for now. No, so what it's supposed to do
Okay.
is, oops,
Get my derpy.
is it's supposed to do that.
Yay!
So, but
It's
it's
so cool. Best part of stream.
well, for a lot of that is I'm trying to find things that are more middle ground, so that aren't pony focused. So just like with the Discord, because I had updated it before, so now there's the rotating coffee cup. So
I mean, there's a pony coffee cup, so I'm okay with it.
it's the SFM pony symbol, yes, but it's at least more general. So
did you ever take a close look at that picture I posted in the Monster Hunter chat?
no, because you posted it.
Ah,
No, I haven't.
it's cool.
But yeah, I did that, and I was just like, what do I call my points? I'm like, cups of coffee, I guess. Yeah, closed it. What'd you do? I'm for more. You're French. Yep, I think I've only got a couple more things I want to poke at on this, and then I think it is ready to go. I think because like I added the new emotes where it's all the Monster Hunter emotes. I guess this list will be better.
Yay! I like that list.
So it's kind of a mix that I see being interesting. I think we're gonna rename some of these to put like Pwn in the front or something so that it keeps it all in one group. But yeah, it's getting there. It is getting there. Hopefully soon. Oh.
What's that skeleton's name?
Needs a name?
Mm-hmm. He was a person once. He needs a name.
He still is. He's just with person without the skin or the hair or the muscles or tendons or the brain or anything but bone.
He's good on calcium.
Yes. Bones are high in calcium. Do I want to do anything else with him? I think I'm just going to go right from what I have and just... He doesn't have any idle? Oh, he does. Okay, just apparently he's not really showing. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else on Twitch that I'm missing for like functionality that was added. I still need to play with the emotes a little bit, and I want to play with that subscriber icon a little bit, the one that like builds up over months and a year. I think for affiliate now I can get it up to a year for that, but I think I went through it pretty good. The only thing I want to potentially do is clean up the format of stuff so that like the things are better segregated. The only thing is I never like I have a 2K monitor, but I would scale it up to or down to 1080 for streaming so that it's cleaner and easier for people. But I don't want to just like scale everything down to make text harder to read if at full screen when people are trying to learn stuff, because I wanted to shove other crap around there. So, but then I don't want to cover up anything too, so I'm just trying to figure out the best way to go about some of that.
There's a bump. There's a bump. There's a bump. There's a bump.
It should work.
There's a bump.
I don't want his face anymore. I want rig. But I don't want that stuff. There we go. Let's see if I can do like a little head bob to the side.
There's a bump.
Nah.
Looks like he's trying to be like a cute kitty cat.
Hmm?
When he tilts the head to the side, I'm just imagining like, nine. Like he's doing like anime kitty cat noise.
There's a bump.
That was also interesting.
There's a bump. There's a bump.
Let's even go with this. What do you want to do? Pelvis.
There's a bump. There's a bump. There's a bump. There's a bump.
Okay. Actually, no, they already got the tilt. I just need to go down a little bit. A little bit. Too much. No. A little bit.
So I saw the R one. What else did you add between streams?
Most of what I did was clean up. Like for instance, I kind of mentioned before, this was running at like 12 to 13 frames a second when playing it. Now it's running at like 24, so it's a lot easier to preview with the lights on. Mainly because I had way more trees than this, and I had a bunch of the concrete. So I spent like probably 2.5 hours last night going through each shot and like going through the whole thing that was viewable, removing models and seeing if I could see if it was removed or not. If it wasn't, I just removed it. So now all of these shots are more efficient. This is still the most intense shot, but it is now a lot more efficient, so I can run it better. And then I think this one is... Oh yeah, I added that text. I finished Nergigante.
My God, there's an on-ramp in the middle of the forest.
Yeah, well, it felt like it wasn't a backwater cheat you out of your money type of dealership without an on-ramp there. And the fact that it's the Astera on-ramp just implies things, and I like that. Some of them I saw where they would kind of do like this little crossover with it, where they would show the hours. They would say like where the location is, and then they would say like open 24 hours. And I was thinking about that like as putting like open until I'm tired or something. But I felt like that would have been too short of a time, and I wanted to just kind of let that sink in, and then have him do his laugh and yelling at you. Originally, too, I was going to have a shot between these two of him telling somebody to get on the damn boat, but I felt that it didn't fit pacing. Like everything else was about being informative and presenting the information that he wants to be presented, but that would be a shot that would be like out of nowhere, so I decided to skip on it. That also made it a lot easier because that shot was the only one I didn't have started, so it cut a lot of work out. I still want to try to get this done by like super early next week, probably Monday, Tuesday, which isn't going to be that bad because this is, I just got to finish animating him, which is almost done already. The nice thing is with him in this one is the lack of any eye motion. I don't need to make him blink or eyebrows or anything. Makes a lot of this super easy too. The only thing I gotta remember to actually animate those is head crest. That one I can animate, but I always forget about it.
There's a bump. 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 There's a bump.
I think the best way to get that head down I want is just to grab his head and push it down.
There's a bump. There's a bump.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be it.
There's a bump. There's a bump.
I think I'm gonna take this hand too. It's in the dark a little bit, but I'm gonna push it a little bit. So I'm gonna have him go and say, like,
There's a bump.
Is that okay with the look? Because I feel like it's going to be confusing his jawline with that color of his wing.
There's a bump. There's a bump. There's a bump. There's a bump.
Give it a shot. If it doesn't work, I just have it sit in the background. I have to double check if this is even my playlist.
There's something different about it?
It didn't start on the... Normally it starts at the newest song I added, but it started way later, and it doesn't show shuffle, which means to me it's just grabbing similar songs, which are ones that I listen to anyway. So, I'm going to make sure I start back at the top. The only reason I don't like it going through completely random is if I had one that suddenly was banning things in countries, I can make sure next stream to remove it. But if it's doing that, I don't know any of those ones, so I'm throwing myself under the bus.
Yeah.
There's a bump.
Everyone will just have to come watch your streams live.
I was trying to find out a way to add it where I could have like the browser's title or something shown somewhere so that I could have the actual songs playing, but I couldn't figure out I don't think there's a link between YouTube Music and Twitch, so.
There's a bump.
You have like you're able to track like how many people watch a whole video all the way through on YouTube, right?
User retention?
Yeah.
Or viewer retention, yeah.
Like for these streams, do you have a couple people who are watching the whole things?
I don't think I've ever looked at my live stream data.
Like, I'm curious if anybody's like actually like, oh, it's time to watch Argo Game on stream, but I wasn't able to watch it live.
It's one of the reasons that I used to, like, if I was backlogged, I would have them all released at the same time. That's why I don't do that anymore. If I'm backlogged, I have it release every day at 8 a.m. instead of all at once.
It brings a smile to my face to know you've been watching Red Green.
Oh, I've seen most of Red Green.
I love Red Green.
But I'm trying to... I love Handyman Corner, for one. But I am trying to get some of the Adventures with Bill themed stuff down and the idea of how it works. No, I'm not playing any videos, so shut up. Refresh the page. Oh, because I signed out of that. No, so I can check right here. So we go to analytics, and then, yeah, I mean, the views numbers are only sometimes in the single digits. I'm down one sub. No.
It's like 3.
So like, I want to find one that has, like this one's got Derpy on fire.
Yay, Derpy. She's on fire though.
What is one that has over 100? There we go. This one has over 100. So let's look at the analytics for this one.
You can tell why.
Audience retention is at 5.4%.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's higher than I thought it would be. Some people are watching this all the way through. That's amazing.
Well, it's 5.4% doesn't mean it's saying how many people once started it were watching it at that moment. So it's saying on average 5.4, but it could be that somebody watched the first hour and another person watched the second hour and the third hour and the fourth hour, and those people just added up to where everybody saw some part of it.
I imagine most people are, if they're finishing it, they're from the start.
Yeah, I don't know. Updating live, there's one person watching this one right now.
Is it you?
No, because I'd have to click here to watch it.
Oh. Well, to that one person, should you ever watch this video, I'm sure he appreciates it.
Yeah, like
I mean, I couldn't care, but he appreciates it.
Doing well, Classic. How are you? No, the whole reason I put those streams up there is because I stream at what is considered midnight in some countries, and I'm not gonna like tell people like too bad. And I can't really stream any earlier, so that's the idea of I'll just put the recording up so at least they can get that. And I try to watch the comments.
There's a bump. There's a bump. There's a bump.
I hope life is treating you well, Classic.
There's a bump. There's a bump.
Gotta make up for the rest of us.
There's a bump.
It's too far down. I just want to do a little bit of a bump. I think what I need to do here is I need to grab this finger at the front here. So have it bent going in. Have it pointing, because that's what you do with fingers.
Fingers, he's a dragon. He doesn't have fingers.
It's, if you don't have fingers, you have something that works as fingers. So I've been using those. That's why, like on this one, I have him. He points.
Horses definitely don't have fingers.
They have one big finger.
It's always flipping you off.
Yes. There's an anthology short about that.
Yes. I remember it was very entertaining.
I think what I'm actually going to do here, I'm going to have Rathalos pull up more. Sure you can.
I never liked when they did that. I'm gonna be honest. When they used the wings as hands, not a fan of hand wings.
It depends on what they use them for. The only thing that always bugged me is that the tips of it is a feather. You don't have any feeling at that point. It's
sometimes they end up using their hair as hands.
well, that's Pinky. That doesn't count.
Okay, that's fair.
Pinky doesn't count for anything. No, I think it's weird at some points, but at others I see that they would be using them for extra utility.
I just wish they would use their mouths more because it's cute and it makes sense. And I think in the earlier seasons,
you don't care that it makes sense. You're just thinking it's like, no.
Yes, it is cute. But they did it a lot more in the earlier seasons than they did in the later seasons. Like that scene with Sweetie Belle when she's carrying the bowling bag and she can't talk. She got the hand on her mouth. It's adorable. I want more of that. The new series starts tomorrow.
Ooh.
I'm curious. Like I think it's gonna be bad, but I'm trying to give it some benefit of the doubt. How are we all today?
I'm doing wonderful.
Complicated question.
It's been a good, pretty productive day. Did get done some of those things I wanted to do, but then I got a lot of other stuff done. So.
My boss let me off work early today. He said, get out of here right now. I never want to see you again. And I was like, thank you, sir. And I left. Can't
Rent?
wait to see him
You still have to
Monday.
pay rent.
Good thing I made all that money in the stock market.
It's free retirement.
No.
It's like, I don't need to work anymore. I made $500.
I made more like 10,000.
Yeah, you can't touch it until whatever.
I'm gonna sell it here shortly when it gets back to roughly where it was before the pandemic. And then I found out as long as I keep it in my account, it's essentially as if I never took it out. I can move stuff around. I just can't take it out of the account. As soon as I take it out of the account, they tax it.
Well, yeah, that I know.
Yeah. And they tax the heck out of a IRA if you take it out early.
They were being a little more flexible about it now, but not for your age.
Mm.
Or there's reduced penalties or delayed penalties.
Like, there is a penalty if I buy a stock in my IRA and then sell it like 3 days later. There is a penalty for that. I think it's like a good faith or something. A good faith clause or something.
The good faith is if you're trying to buy and sell stocks with money that they don't have. So like if I deposited $1,500 in there and they'll let me buy stock immediately with it. But if I try to sell it before that money gets fully transferred in, then it's considered a good faith violation. And then they'll put a lot of limits on your account. And usually, even after they get the money, there's like this couple day period, at least to the Fidelity that I use.
I do plan on moving stuff around though in the account because once it gets to a certain point, the accounts the stocks I invested in, they don't move much. They were steady, which is kind of what you want for an IRA, is steady things. But
that's most of the stuff I started putting into lately was high dividend stuff. So AT&T, because they have like a 6.5% dividend. ExxonMobil actually now, because they have a 7.5% dividend. There's another one. IBM's another one, because then they're not, even if they stay steady, it's an increase.
Yeah, you're making money. It's the kind of thing you want in your IRA for sure.
Well, I was just doing that for my own stuff too, because the ones that I don't want to touch for a while.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I have a lot. I have a lot of my stocks in big companies right now, so I imagine the dividends aren't too bad. Airlines and cruise lines and clotheslines.
Yeah.
That will last me. Not real. People are going to go back to clotheslines. You'll see. The day of the dryer is behind us. Who didn't enjoy hanging their underwear outside for all to see?
I don't want to make it look like it's just like kind of floating forward and backwards. I want to add something.
I have a feeling if somebody was like to tie up all their underwear to a string on a pole outside, people today would be like, "The heck are you doing? Take that inside." Nasty.
I think I'm going to take that whole hand. Actually, I get to... So today's my off day from work, so I didn't have to work today. But my boss had messaged me on Wednesday, saying, with a couple other people, saying that they wanted to go out for a ride, for a bike ride on Friday in the morning. And they were saying they wanted to go to this one place. I'm like, that's like 18, 19 miles away. But I'm like, that's a long ways to ride. And he knows I just got a bike. So I was like, well, okay, well, we'll... So I responded back. I'm like, oh, I can see. I had stuff I wanted to do that day, but I'll see. And he's like, you have a motorcycle? I'm like, oh... So he accidentally put me in the email because the person he was trying to add, his last name is the same as mine, but the place they were going to meet was literally 3 blocks from here. So when they all met with their motorcycles, I pulled up with my bicycle and got to and just they were like, you're gonna have some problems keeping up. I'm like, oh, I brought a tow rope. It'll be fine. So yeah, it ended up just being funny. So I just kind of hung out with them for a half hour, drank some coffee, and just chit-chatted. Haven't been able to talk. I haven't seen my boss and some of the other guys there for 3 months, so it was kind of fun.
I thought about getting a motorbike once upon a time. Mostly because I thought it would be better on gas and cheap.
No, they're not.
They're
worse than the environment.
Well, they're just as bad or worse, yeah. But as
Mythbusters did a thing on that. They're much worse than the environment per gallon.
Yeah, they get like 50 miles to the gallon on average, which is pretty.
But then if the weather's bad, or
that's the thing.
Yeah, it's limited. It's definitely a recreational type vehicle. And they had some nice ones. 2 of them had Harleys that were very similar, and then one of the other ones had actually a dirt bike So it was but it was like a beefier dirt bike, not like
Yeah.
a super thin one. So it was road for riding on the road too.
Okay, so that was one of my question.
Yeah, so it's for riding on the road. Two of the people didn't show up because one had to work and the other one was busy. But it was just funny because I just pulled up in my, so they were like rum vroom and I'm like ding ding.
I grew up out in the country, and one thing a lot of people I see riding down the road, it's not street legal, it's four-wheelers. And every once in a while you see somebody out in town, like in the main town. And when I say town, it's very small compared to like anything here in Minneapolis.
It's more like a hole that people fell in, and
It's like a Walmart showed up like 10 years ago and some shops built around it. That's town. I used to refer to the Walmart as the Grant County Mall. But
that should be good enough.
But yeah, every once in a while you see somebody running through town on a four-wheeler and they get pulled over because they were dumb. It's not a street legal vehicle. But you'd see them through the country all the time, riding down the road. Those things were loud as heck.
Oh yeah. I've ridden the four-wheelers before, and they're not made for anything but just going forward.
Yeah. Now it's the tires on them that makes them not street legal more than anything because they tear up the roads. That, and I don't think they have blinkers on them. I don't know that that's necessary on a vehicle like that. I think you can do hand signals. But I think it's the tires more than anything. They aren't kind to pavement.
I'm trying to, there's a little bit of a lack of motion there. Yeah, that should work. It's just there was a lack of motion there where at the end he just stopped moving for like a good 10 frames, so I wanted to get rid of that. There we go. So now I need to do the jaw twist. I actually found, like, when I was working on Nergigante, the only way I could get this end to actually sound like a good E was I had to twist the jaw just like this. Then it actually looked like the sound that I wanted. So I had to really utilize the jaw twist with him to try to get the certain sounds by, like, making it look right on at least one side. It's weird.
This shit's worse than teaching health class.
Oh, I still have to go and fix him.
What's wrong? Oh, then he's ugly.
His eyes.
I thought they were just super beady like that.
No, and it might be because no, it's not, because it's hard to tell sometimes when stuff is clipping in there. So I did what I could to prevent it, but it's still there, and that just makes him look like his little beady eyes.
I'm guessing Rathlos is in a fan.
How can you tell? It's for that reason that I've thought about changing that text to something else that's demeaning. Instead of just... but I was trying to see this, again, as progression. Starting as, like... Because if by putting loyal customer, it's at least giving implication of what the segment is supposed to be. But by putting the parentheses, at least adds a comedic element to it. Where then the next one goes the next level of that, and now that you've gotten context, goes and says worst monster because he's also being an asshole, and then just bark. So that's the reason I did it. So I feel like if I remove it, I'm getting rid of some of that original context.
No, I think it's good.
There's a bump. There's a bump.
Oh, so I almost forgot about the one thing with him, so I need to do his head crest. His head crest is this thing.
There's a bump.
actually helps a lot. It gives a lot of extra character to have that moving. I can't really make it. I can't really make it go like sideways and stuff because that doesn't really work. But like I mean, going like this, it's not like it's like the wind's blowing hard. It doesn't work that way. But this is a bone that was on him already, so I've been using it similar to how like the pony ears work. Where the pony ears would be if you're like sad or depressed, you put it back, and then if you like angry, it goes forward. I think that's kind of the original intent for it as well. But I've been using it for emphasis. So like here, so anytime he's like going to say something emphatic, it'll go up, and anytime he's like lowering his head for something, it goes down. I think I even have that animated in this scene too. Yeah, it's very subtle, but it's there. So when his head goes down and then back up. Oh yeah, this whole thing I wanted to do is jaw. Okay, I'll keep that. Jaw down. Okay. I wonder if I can have it for the B. Can I end it twisted? No, that kind of looks weird.
I'm just gonna call him Tommy.
Oh, the skeleton?
He feels like a Tommy.
I wonder if...
Kind of thinking of Castaway, Tom Hanks.
I think you actually named him that once. Or, oh, no, you said that you wanted that ball added.
I wanted the ball added. No, I'm just gonna call the skeleton Tommy. It's Tommy.
So if I twist it this way instead... Doesn't really give me that E sound unless I bring it in a little bit more. It's too twisted. Maybe if I add a little bit of... Oh, it's already got... Wait, no, that bone isn't touched. These two.
What was that one hunter who was always eating? Fiver Bro.
A Fiver Bro, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's Fiver Bro. He ran out of sandwiches. He went on a carb-free diet.
Well, no. If you look at their food, other than the loaves of bread they eat, most of what they have is protein.
Other than the giant loaves of bread they eat.
Yeah, I mean they do eat like 3 loaves of bread per meal.
Yes, they do. It's amazing.
I'm gonna call that one good.
If I was ever like on death row and they're like, what would you like for your final meal? I would just show them a picture from Monster Hunter and I'd be like, that. I'd be like, oh god.
Are you trying to kill yourself before?
I mean, that would be the goal.
There's a whole reason behind that, though, that they're supposed to be superhuman and they just consume calories like mad. But my thought is, if you have to take in that many calories, then you would be unable to move, because by the time you consumed it all, you would need to consume it again. That's probably what happened with Fiverr Bro.
That's why he's stuck. I'm trapped here for eternity or I'll die.
Eternal dinner. And if nobody knows who...
the legend of Fiverr Bro.
I want to see if it comes up.
What's it? It says up top. What is it?
What are you, an idiot sandwich?
What did that say? I'll go back. It said something like Fiverr Bro's wage scale. I'm glad other people recognize that he does nothing but eat.
Yeah, so Fiverr Bro is this guy in Monster Hunter. Let's see if I can just... No, that's not what I want.
It's like the picture.
Oh, that's super tiny. That's this guy.
Him.
So yeah, so he's just chilling here, and his name is Fiverr Bro, and the entire game, like throughout the entire time you play, he is always sitting in the same spot, and he is always eating and drinking. He never stops. So that's why they're like, his weight should scale.
That would be amazing if he just gradually got fatter and fatter the longer you played the game. That would be the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah.
Best feature.
Please tell me Fiverr Bro eats himself to death.
He's the best character in the game.
Yeah. It's just... I mean, all the other people are like walking around doing stuff, and they have a life, and they're, you know, being productive, but he's never left.
He just eats.
He just eats. Oh, that'd be a fun model to have.
Fiverr Bro?
Fiverr Bro. And that's his name, too. He's such a bro.
It's Fiverr Bro. He's like, has some things that are related quest-wise, I think. You talk to him.
No, he does give you some quests, but I'm pretty sure the quests he gives you are related to food.
I'm just imagining that whole weight skill thing. It's like, I have 600 hours in the Monster Hunter, and there's this Fiverr Bro like...
He's the boss of the game.
It's like the biggest monster in Monster Quest. He just rolls out.
I swear that we actually made that joke during the play of Monster Hunter one time, of saying that Fiverr Bro is going to be the boss of the game.
Amazing.
That's a game I do want to go back to play again.
Just to finish it, sure.
I know. I thought like you can get up to, I think, master rank 999 now.
Yeah, but after you kill all the monsters, why?
They have constant events going. They have another content update. It was just delayed because of COVID.
That doesn't make sense.
None of their people could go into the office.
They can do it at home.
But
games design something that seems like
but if you're doing a high-end video game design, you might need a specific type of computer. You might also have NDA information that requires you to be logged into their network, and the amount of data transfers might not be possible over a VPN.
You work on highly classified information, and you can do your job.
But I don't work with large amounts of information.
No.
That's where it's if they're transferring models that are gigabytes, that might be a little bit hard on the network. So so yeah, I got that one done. And that one won't be that difficult either. So this is what the hell is that? It's a wing, apparently.
He's got funky designs on the bottom of his wing that I've never noticed before.
Those ones?
Mm-hmm.
It's his gang tats. He's rolling with the bloods.
Just imagine that's like the dragon version of varicose veins. He's just like, don't look. I'm just old.
I believe Dread King is a brighter red and like has a lot more of those. They're bright black.
Bright black.
Well, they're high contrast.
Neon black.
Well, it's in high contrast to where it looks like it's the prominent piece that you look at.
Yeah.
But yes, he glows in the dark.
It's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Well, if you're a large company, you're not going to be using Dropbox. But it can be a strain on the network. Like for our work, when we moved to an online format for working from home, they knew it was coming, and so they were buffing up the VPN. Really? Yeah, ours has a full-on VPN, so I have to log in 3 times to get to the network. It's kind of annoying. Wait, no, 4 times. So, or I need 4 passwords. So, to get to the VPN. But if I'm at work, it's still 4 passwords. It's not like it's different.
I have a program that remembers all my passwords for me.
They don't let us have anything like that. And all 4 have to be different.
My boss even said, write down your computer password somewhere, stick it somewhere where I can find it if you ever disappear for any reason.
No, for me, it's you have to unlock the hard drive. It's a BitLocker. So you have to unlock the hard drive. Then when the hard drive's unlocked, you have to log into the computer. And since I'm on the VPN, once I'm logged into the computer, I have to go to the VPN and log into the VPN. But we also have a 2-factor authentication for those logins. So once I log in to the VPN, I get another request for a login where I have to use either my phone or have it call my phone to verify me through that method too. So it's like a 4-step I have to do. It's quick, but it's just...
I can't imagine what you have to do if you ever forget your password.
No, I've had it before where I got locked out of my account. I just called the customer help, and they just run you through it. You do have to supply information to them to prove that it's you. They verify the phone number you're at, it's the one that's on file. They request a bunch of your personal information to verify.
Just imagine me calling them up like, yeah, I need the password for this computer. Yeah, sure. Hey, wait a second. Are you? Yes.
Well, who else would I be?
Oh, okay.
I am me.
Of course. Okay.
But
he said he's him, so.
But if I had to work with any information that was of a specific level, for one, I'm not authorized, and 2, they would not let me do that out of the building. Not only do you have to go in the building, they have certain rooms in certain places that you can only do within those rooms, and the network is closed off to the outside network. It's a whole internal system, and no information goes in or out of that room other than through very specific methods.
I'm glad my computer's not closed out from any networks because when my boss is like late getting in, I'll just watch YouTube videos. Couldn't do that on a closed network. Gotta catch up on my YouTubes. My work is super lax.
Well, mine is too. The security is tight, but everything else they're lax on.
It's just me and one other guy right now working at my building, so we get along. He's very forgiving of me when I goof from time to time. Because
you never goof.
I am a goof. At least I'm good at fixing electronics, so they keep me around. I might not always put all those electronics in the box to make sure they get back to the customer on time, but I fixed them. I've done that before too. I've forgotten, like, part of an order or something. Not often. Maybe once or twice a year. I have thousands of orders. still takes forever. My mother still says she doesn't know what I do for a living. I've tried to explain to her, and to me, it's not that complicated. She's like, so you build computers? I'm like, no, mother. You repair electronic components.
Here's a ball.
And thankfully, my parents or at least my dad is good about that stuff. Where he worked at IBM for like a decade, so he has worked with computers. He doesn't understand computers that much of today, but he has at least enough of an understanding to get the gist of everything.
You know, anytime anyone is like, what do you do? I just thought he's like, he works in Excel or something. It's like, that's the best answer I can give him. Because I don't really know what to do entirely. I figure you write programs that other people use to help keep things organized. I figure you write programs that other people use to help keep things organized.
For my job?
Yes.
No.
No, you don't do like.
I mean,
sorting.
No,
programs?
like the big application that I run right now is it's an application that facilitates the movement of material through the system.
So it keeps them all organized.
It all has places to go, but it keeps the process in check because everybody was doing things, but they had nothing verifying or tracing anything that was done in the system, so nobody knew what was going on. It's there to ensure that it's following this process as it's supposed to. People put stuff in there and it's disorganized, but it helps follow the process.
You gotta keep them organized, man. That's like your whole job.
No, there's no way I could do that. But it's just
impossible.
But then they're like, I built it so that it has these phases and it moves through it. It's programmed to follow the phases and do certain things and double checks and stuff. And then they're like, we need to add a phase in here. And they're like, that shouldn't be that hard, right? And I'm like, the analogy I gave them was, you're asking me to try to add a car to a moving train. Like the middle of the train. Like, can I do it? Yeah. But it's a moving train. By that, I mean, it's a system that's in use, and I don't have a test environment. I'm not IT, so I don't have a test environment, so anything I do has to do with the live system. So I said the only way I can do this is in the weekend, because there is no possible way that I can touch it while you guys are in it, because the moment I do, like I went and added a system to manage deviations on a log, and there was the moment I made a change, and I had to make 2 changes, and they were 30 seconds apart, somebody did something in the middle of that 30 seconds that broke their item because they just happened to do it, and they only do that thing like twice a day, and they happen to be in that 30 second window.
I kind of got irritated at my boss here recently because we're changing our system, and he wanted me to update all the addresses and stuff into the new system from the old system, and it's already a tedious task. But I'm doing it. I'm updating all the information in the new system. It's taking hours upon hours. Making sure everything's right, correcting it. And he's like, oh, I'm going to help. So he enters the same system that I'm trying to update. And he's trying to update it simultaneously. And I was like, no. Because now we got 2 files that have 2 different things going on them simultaneously. And they're not updating on each other correctly. And I'm just like, okay, if you're going to do this, I can't do it. If you want me to do it, you can't be doing it. And he was like, oh, okay.
One of my favorites was at work, one of the guys there, because for the system that I put together, it ends up, if people put attachments on there, the system, that part of the system is poorly done, and I can't, not my part of it, I just can't control that part of it. So it's very poor in how it handles attachments. And so if somebody deletes something, it's gone forever. So I have to have everything copied over an archive on the side to make sure that so if somebody deletes something, they're not lost and they get pissed. So, and that has happened already. So, but because of that, it's making 2, 3, 4, 5 copies of some stuff over time for all the different changes. And twice we had it hit the system's limit, and we had to have IT increase our limit on the second time because I couldn't clean out enough for it. They don't care. There's whatever, so increase the number. But one of my bosses, when I said I hit the limit and I explained the situation because it was a problem, people got angry, so I had to explain what happened and how we solved it. And his message back, so this is a server to where all I ran out of was allocated space. There's just a number that says that I'm only allocated 20 gigabytes, and they just bumped it up to 100 gigabytes. So when he says it was out of memory, he goes, well, we're a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm pretty sure that we can buy a couple hard drives off, like, Amazon, and we can just toss them in there. I'm like, that's not how servers work. You don't just buy a spin drive for your local PC, shove it in your multi-million-dollar server, and say that now it's got a hard drive and increased space.
Why not?
It was, and I kind of explained it, but I knew that I was going to make him sound I was going to be demeaning no matter how I did.
Wait,
but
I am actually confused. Why can't you just throw another hard drive in it if you need more space?
You're not. No, he was talking about just going and picking up a 1 terabyte hard drive and putting it into a enterprise server.
No.
Those are what they run on.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, then
No, you're not going to just buy a consumer hard drive. You're going to be buying these
it's got a UPS port.
But that's not how you're going to expand it. Plus, again, it's allocated space. That server didn't run out of space.
You can't.
It wasn't. He was thinking that each of those little subsites had its own little hard drive, and I ran out of space on that hard drive. He says, "Well, get another one," and I'm like, "No, that's not how it works. It's all, what do they call that?
I mean,
It's not a physical hard drive. It's a artificial partition. Yeah, it's all partitioned, and so I just needed a bigger partition. That's all I needed to do, and it was just. I'm like,
that's harder than you think, though. Increasing the size of an existing partition can be a bit of a pain.
From the Windows side, yeah, but this is SharePoint. I didn't need a partition. It was just them going in there and flipping a switch to give me more space. That was it. It was to allocate me more space on the drive. That was it. And it was just, when he said that, though, I was just like, no, I'm not going to. You know what? Send in the ticket. I want to see IT get back to you on this one. They're like, well, we found a good sale for a 500 gigabyte drive. We're going to buy 1,400 of them. Interesting tidbit. Backups of drives for like big enterprises, they still tend to use non-random access memory. So like normally a hard drive is that you can read and write to anywhere on the drive. It'll just go to that point, write and read. But a lot of the times for backups, they don't use those. They actually use sequential drives. So it's a tape drive, like with actual spinning tape or something, because you can store an immense amount of data in a very small amount of space compared to random access. And if it's a backup, you don't need it to be random access. You're just doing an image. So if you need to get to that image, you're going to be copying the whole image back anyway. So they'll actually use these drives because you can get super tiny ones that are just like 16 terabytes.
Yeah,
and they last a lot longer too. Yeah, it's if you don't have to add the functionality in to grab information from anywhere on it. It's just gonna you can put it all into dropping the price and getting the longevity.
You know, I don't know if there's any way to do it, but I think one functionality I would like to see in computers is that if you have two different hard drives, like physical hard drives, you could have them both under the same address, like same drive letter. I think that would be really nice. Like if I have like two M.2s like I have upstairs, instead of creating a C and a D drive, I could just have all that memory allocated to C. And I could just
Can? Yeah. He used the word in chat.
What? Raid?
You never heard of a raid?
I've heard of it. What?
Cool things for people to know. Okay. So it depends on the type of raid. There's raid 0, raid 1, raid 5, raid 10. And I think there's some other numbers mixed in there. More than likely, because you're going to go cheap route, you go on a raid 0. No, because it's more of, do you care about data backup than raid 0. So, what a raid is, it's about taking two drives, and then each of them shares part of the information that's stored. By doing such, you are doubling the speed, because it can send a request and both drives will send the information back. So M.2s don't matter because they're already freaking fast. They're 25 times faster than a regular hard drive. But I used to have a RAID 0 in my old PC. I had two 1 terabyte black Caviar Blacks Western Digital, and it was really fast. The problem was one of them failed, and on a RAID 0, that means both of them fail. Because there is nothing. If you have data that works like this and you take this out, this data is unreadable now. Yeah. So as this one started failing, I knew I had to replace it. This one still worked once I removed the RAID, but there's a risk with that with RAID 0. Then RAID 10 is essentially just having two hard drives where I think it's RAID 10 is duplicated. So there's no actual increase in storage. You're just everything done in this one's also put on this one. So in case of failure, RAID 5 is where you start using parity. So you have, say you have, and for that you need at least 3 drives. So you take 2 drives that work similar to a RAID 0, but then the third drive runs a parity of the other 2. So its information is based on some kind of algorithm that comes from the other 2. But to get what that means is that if your parity drive dies, who cares? Your other 2 have all the information. If one of your normal drives die, you can rebuild that data by taking your other drive and the parity drive, and the parity will let you figure out the information from the second. So the RAID 5 is the cost-efficient way to maintain a backup. And you can have like 9 hard drives in one parity, but then you're still...
I'll have to set it up.
But for you probably just do RAID 0. But you would have to wipe everything on the drives.
Well, one of the drives I haven't even used yet.
You'd have to wipe all the drives, and I'm not sure how M.2 works for that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's pretty easy to set up in the Windows disk management.
I've just never tried, so...
But yeah, it's just... But then you can have a single drive letter.
Yeah,
and that's
which is preferable.
And like I said, I did have that. It worked well, especially for spin drives, because they ran fast for spin drive times. Clone RAID, yeah, I can't. I just know. I can't remember what RAID 1 is, but I remember RAID 0, 5, and 10 because really they're just scales of the same thing. Where 0 is about combining 2 drives. RAID 10 is about just duplicating any. So you can have 4 drives that are RAID 10 and two sets of RAID 0s. But I believe a RAID 10 is actually supposed to be a combination of 0 and 1. It's it's school stuff from way back, but it's actually super easy to set up. But the more hard drives you put in a RAID, the increased chance you have of losing the data. I had an issue come up with just 2, but say I had 6 hard drives or 10 hard drives, it's if each drive has a chance of failing, I've increased my chances of failure by 10 times. So that's where RAID 0s are neat, but I think nowadays, because of how fast M.2s are, they're not needed anymore. Just because...
I just want to combine...
If you're combining them, you're doubling the space.
Yeah.
I don't know what the failure rate of M.2s are. Spin drives were a higher failure rate. So.
I would imagine the spin drives would have a higher failure rate just because the more moving parts you have...
Well, there was moving parts in general are going to do that. Yeah. So I don't think it would be as much of an issue, but the M.2s run in a completely different format.
Just Flash.
Well, no, but it's not FAT, I believe.
Well, I think you could probably save it to 532.
No,
you don't have to.
No, you're going to lose a lot of speed, so then you're just negating everything. No, there's got to be a way on Windows 10 to do it. But just Google it. It's your friend.
I could figure it out if I cared to.
Google it. Don't do like your freaking pork bread.
Pork bread was amazing. You just don't appreciate new life.
You want to tell Blurred about your
the pork bread was a great idea. It leaked a little bit. It leaked, but bread's supposed to leak. I think.
He tried to replace the flour in bread with pork rinds.
Yeah, I ground up pork rinds into a flour and then tried to make bread from it. The results were inconclusive. I was trying to make a low carb bread.
Hold on.
That's just.
You want to see a picture?
It was amazing. I have no idea how far back it is. I should not be far back at all. Just people chatting. It was a while ago.
Longer back than I thought it would be.
No, people post a lot.
There it is.
There it is. Look. It leaked. It is sitting in grease. Okay? It was supposed to rise. I put the yeast in. I let it sit for an hour. It didn't rise. Apparently, yeast and pork, they just don't get along. Natural enemies, I think.
How did it taste?
It tasted like if I put a bag of pork rinds and like, so it tasted like soggy, sticky pork rinds. Like it was almost like glue when I put it in my mouth. You saw that on Twitter. That's my pork bread.
But he didn't. His thought was, it's a powder, it'll work.
Yeah, I've seen
but
people
didn't verify it.
Bread from bone meal. Places grind up bones.
That's different.
Yeah, it's got to be nasty.
Well, no, it's not. It's
calcium.
not. It's not pork rinds.
Yeah, it's bone. Not flour either. I mean, this is how we learn. I'm still not entirely convinced it can't be done. I think I just have to like adjust the ingredients or something. I think the biggest obstacle is all the grease. Who would have guessed there was so much grease in pork?
Actually, what I'm surprised is how much grease was in pork rinds.
Yeah, that was it's sitting in that puddle. That was after I drained it once.
The puddle.
Yeah,
Your
like,
bread puddle.
My bread puddle. I drained it, and then I sat it like back down, and it kept leaking more. So that was like after I had drained it once. It was still sitting in that puddle of grease. There's a lot of grease in pork rinds. Like, they seem dry and fluffy and flaky, but they're just packed full of grease. Like, I don't know how they do it. It's some kind of magic.
It's basically like fluffy bacon.
Yeah, but the bacon at least shows it's grease. The pork rinds will hide it. It's hidden grease.
Those calories just sneak up on you.
They do. The only thing I learned from that experience was I need to do it a little differently next time. I did get a bunch of stuff to try to make bread from cauliflower this weekend. I want to see how that works.
Can you please like Google it before you just... You don't have to sit in it. You're upstairs. You can stay away from the smell.
You said it smelled okay.
It smelled okay because I'm way over here, but then like anywhere I go in the house after that, it just smelled like pork jello.
That is kind of what it was. It's like a pork pudding.
Pork pudding.
Pork pudding.
Is that your porn name?
That would be an amazingly good.
Have like, pork pudding. You can never pronounce the G. It's always pork pudding.
Pork pudding. That's right. Oh no.
Here's a bump.
Okay, I just wanted to... I realized I had only moved his head, so I wanted to at least create some kind of extra motion there. Okay, so I don't want his face. Actually, I don't need any of these bones, just to simplify its selection here. He does not like autosaves. I love the birds out there, though.
I do too. I would like this, but like a koi pond or something too.
A what?
Koi pond, with like the fish.
Oh no, I would not want any sitting water out there.
Why not?
Mosquitoes, bugs, all of them congregate on water. There is some water around here. That's where we hear the frogs and stuff.
Like a koi pond, but inside a greenhouse. How about that? If you had a big old greenhouse out back.
Yeah, like this doesn't work for something like that. Minnesota is just sitting water is not something I'd want in Minnesota.
I think it'd be alright. Like, that's what I want. Like, if I was rich, I'd have a big old greenhouse attached to my house, and it would just have like a stream that's constantly flowing in a circle. And it's got like koi fish in it, and like I can just sit there and enjoy nature safely inside, away from the mosquitoes.
No, like one of my favorite things right now is on a work day, and this is one of the reasons that going back to work would kind of suck, is like on a day like today or like yesterday when I was working, is I just grab my laptop and I have Samsung Bluetooth headphones, and I'll just go and sit on the deck where it's fully shaded until about 1 o'clock, and it's just tons of trees right in front of me, and all I hear is the birds and everything, and the headphones I have pick up ambient noise and play it back, so even though I'm listening to music, I can still hear everything around me. And it's super nice and relaxing, and I'll be out there for like 5 hours working, so I love it.
Also, you got all these ponies around.
When I'm outside, I don't work here.
What? Oh.
No, I'm out there or I'm at the kitchen table. I can't sit here and work. I would never get anything done.
This is the only pony I get to have at work. It's my Rainbow Dash. She rainbowed. That's all I get.
Why do you have to like wiggle it at me?
Rainbow. It's like, don't wiggle that at me. It's making me feel awkward.
Awkward. It makes me feel weird things.
Stop wiggling your rainbow.
I'm pork pudding. Want to see my rainbow?
Oh no. Oh. My brother got me that. I did not buy it myself. He's cool sometimes.
Hey, here's a boat. Hey. Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat.
It's a really weird head motion.
Here's a boat. Here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat.
I feel like I need to... I mean, technically it does work. But I need to imply further bending or something. I think what actually might work is instead of the 4, I can do the part here maybe.
You want anything?
No, I'm good right now. Thank you. Actually,
You say that.
There it
then
is.
you look like you're frantic.
no, I finished my glass of water, and so I have to log it. Make sure I'm keeping up with the amount of water I want to have a day, and I'm 1 glass away.
Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat.
Yeah, I think that's a bit better, but he needs to be a little lower. Let's see if I can just cheat this. I'm just gonna grab this part and I'm just gonna go and slide you down.
Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat.
Yeah, because otherwise, if feeling like doing that whole turn thing without some extra movements on his back, it doesn't seem right.
Here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat.
I'm gonna also need to modify his wing position here, because apparently...
Here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat.
It still didn't work. I need to maybe just get it up higher. Your wings are in the way. Oh. Actually, it's not even that. It's his elbows in the way.
Hey, here's a boat.
There we go. So I think also if I can probably have his tail turned down here. He's balancing, keeping it close, and then when he lifts, I can have his tail. He should go like he's trying to balance it. Oh. Maybe would it be like a... I'm gonna turn this way.
Here's a boat. Here's a
Quiet over there. Let's take this. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Good. What am I do here? Let's add a little bit of excitement. That boat is... He's not locked to that boat. That would make sense. I don't know why I would have, but I want to. So we need to lock his... Just gonna lock his legs. Oops, wrong way. Okay, now...
The ice maker does not appear to be making much in the way of ice.
Hmm?
Said the ice maker doesn't seem to be making much ice.
Turn the ice back on.
Oh, did you turn it off?
Once it fills, I turn it off so it's not filling up constantly.
Ah,
So it's like the ice button, you have to hold it down for 3 seconds and it turns the ice back on and then it'll make more ice.
I'm learning so much today.
That's why when you look on it, there's a light that says ice off. It's lit. Very exciting.
Why are you assuming I can read?
You're the one that said you're the electrical engineer and you know how all that stuff works. Now I'm telling you how to work a fridge.
Mm-hmm.
If you open it up, cold stuff is inside.
You need somebody to fix your fridge, I can help. If you need somebody to tell you what that light means, you're asking the wrong guy. There's a boat.
So this I'm making it look like he's kind of pushing off with it, and he's causing it to get all fallen over and junk. Apparently, I don't have it set with those are his. Is this the ones I'm thinking of? Why can't I select you? Oh, no, that is those ones. Damn. Toes, that's what I was looking for. It's a cheap way to do it. That's the way I'll do it. Okay, so problem with this is that if you look how it rocks, it's not rocking on the actual place it's standing. It's rocking on its axis, which is not correct. Which means I need a helper. Normally I would just try to interpret how to move it, but this helpers are just the best way to do it. So this is going to be boat axis, rotation axis. And that typically is what I'm going to have to do, but first I'm going to put it where I need it. So this put this about where we think the rotation should be. So first I'm going to lock the boat to it. I'm going to go to its rotation and say 0. Now unlock. It should give me the rotation. That's perfect with the boat. It is. And maybe a little under the ground. Don't want that. Now I'm going to lock the boat to it. So now anywhere I rotate this, perfect. So now this boat, I don't want moving at all anymore. Why is it still rotating? I'm not 100% sure, but it's fine. Actually, I think just with that. Oh, I think because I only had the. I think without the position change, it actually works. Yeah. Oh, maybe I don't need that. I think I want to have him pull a little bit to the left when this happens too, because right now it feels like he's moving completely separate from the rest of it. Okay, I think that should work. This is a little bit of a stop point. Round that out a bit more.
Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat. Here's a boat. Here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat. Here's a boat.
Should I add a sound effect for that? I don't think so. I think just leave it as it is.
Hey, here's a boat.
I don't think I'll touch his head crest on this. It's kind of a weird position as it is.
Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat.
When I go in it, like if he goes from here and I click it, it actually takes a second longer for his legs to catch up.
Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's...
So when he actually does this motion, I can probably rotate the boat a bit more.
Hey, here's a boat. 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 Hey, here's... Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat.
Yeah, I don't think I'll do any audio with that. So I think with the other stuff going on,
Hey, here's a boat. There's a boat.
yeah, I think I'll leave it at that.
Hey, here's a boat.
Okay, did it still take a second for his legs to catch up?
Hey,
Oh, it's only because I'm going from here to here. Okay. It's probably because of the rig.
hey, here's a boat.
So I think that one can be done. Yeah, that's what I thought. Sky's wrong. Yeah, I don't know if I was on stream when I replaced the sky.
Yeah, it does seem dimmer.
Now it seems purple.
That is the sky, the way it's been.
No.
Doesn't it sound?
No, this is the way it's supposed to look. I found someone online and some sky box type thing to use. The main thing I wanted was a sky card that had a line that was whiter and then it got bluer as I went up. That was the main thing. Having clouds helps because in a lot of these scenes then I just have the skybox slowly moving.
Hey, here's a boat. Hey, here's a boat. How about this boat?
The scene suddenly seems very dark in comparison.
Hey, here's a boat.
But it's hard because he's basically covering everything. So it's just going to be shadow. The shadow's attenuation is already as high as it'll go. Oh, I did get to play after, actually it was probably even before last Tuesday's stream, play around with Source Filmmaker in Half-Life Alyx. So essentially Source 2 for Source Filmmaker. And it actually works, like, pretty well. Some of the controls are a little different. The UI is basically the same. There's a lot of extra functions. The lights work immensely better. For instance, right now, like if you look at my sunlight here, it's way far away and zoomed way in. That's because it's the definition of a shadow is dependent on the narrowness of the light. The smaller the light gap, or the light cone, the sharper the shadow. Source 2 doesn't have that. It's a light of any width. It will have a shadow cast the same, as far as I could tell. Radius worked better. A lot of what I found with Alyx, though, is because there's no need, or there's less of a need for shadows in certain situations. A lot of the really, really good-looking, efficient scenes only look good because there is zero lights, and it is all painted shadows. So it's about taking this scene into a more sophisticated lighting algorithm, or even just in the game's lighting algorithm, looking at the way the shadows look, and then painting the textures to look like they have the shadows. That way you don't have to put any of the lights, and it's efficient.
Hey, here's a boat.
So I think this one is...
Hey, here's a boat.
I think the only thing I can think of this the change in this one is his head is stationary here, but his legs are moving. So I kind of want to add something here to make it look like his head is trying to compensate for something.
So when did you say you were going to do the giveaway?
Oh, for those plushes?
Mm-hmm.
I want to get this video done so that the account has something new within a certain period of time, and then I wanted to do it within a week of that.
You should do it simultaneously.
No.
No?
I want to, because if you do it simultaneously, you're going to have a lot of the... I want to have the new people that are there, or as many of the new people there, so that... Because like your first day or 2 or 3 is usually your best, and if you put out 2 things at the same time, you're... one of them usually will overshadow another. If I put out one thing at a time for that, I get that first couple day gap where I get the most amount of stuff. You get the most amount of people brought in. Then you bring out another thing, so that's now the focus.
I
So
think they would support each other.
no, they would. You would. People might see one thing, and then they'll see another thing, but then they forget about the first thing. So they're not going to support each other. It's whatever one they're going to find one of them, they're going to focus on that, so the other one will kind of get left behind. It's better just to keep it so that one thing at a time. That's why the Rathlos stuff, when I was putting those out, I did that over time, because it allowed people to follow. Then the next day maybe, or 2 days later, they see something new, and that was something else they could share, and it was popping up over spread amounts of time. But if I dropped it all in there at once, I would have not gotten near as big of a following.
Here's a boat.
So I'm going to call this one done.
Yay! 1 scene, 2 scenes left.
Oh, this one's not bad. This one is the rough one, because it's got a lot of lip syncing.
Somebody better check this out.
Not that bad though.
Go now.
I wonder if I already have like lip sync of him somewhere saying "Go to hell."
It does seem like something he said before.
No, I don't think I've had him animated to do it. I'm a little concerned of how easy this will be to read, but I think
Seems easy enough.
I'm not going to render with that text. All this text right now is just as placeholders for myself. I'm going to redo it all in After Effects. It'll look better. I can probably do different effects to it with the background of the text to make it look older.
You do know you're like gonna reduce the quality of this immensely.
But
That's
I'd
part of the joke.
rather be able to reduce the quality of the text separate from the video.
Mm-hmm.
But if I render it together, I don't have a choice. If I keep them separate, even if I do end up just doing the same thing, at least I have the option. So, and I don't want to degrade it too much, because if I degrade it too much, then it's just going to look crappy too. So I have to find a balance.
You never, when you think about it, like, if I was to look at a CRT television now, I would think it would look crappy, but I didn't give it any thought back when that was all we had.
I know, but that's what I need to worry about now, though, is if I go too crappy, it'll be more detrimental than just... It's similar to how with lip syncing, sometimes the things that you make them do, or like with the mouth, are much more exaggerated than a real person would, or some of the things aren't even what a real person would use for talking, but it works that situation and maybe it's needed. So it's not always about being realistic in what I'm doing.
You know, I remember, as far as like CRT televisions go, though, is when I was a kid, in my bedroom, we had a black and white TV, right? It was a really old black and white TV, and I was convinced, as a child, mind you, that color on televisions was strictly for adults. Like, kids weren't allowed to have color. Color was an adult.
There's two things that adults get: alcohol and color television.
Yes.
Yeehaw.
Children get black and
Kentucky.
white television. Which I happily played my Nintendo on. Yay, Nintendo. Mario looked fine black and white.
Okay. It's like 4 words. I thought this was longer lip syncing than it is. Okay, angry. God, that hair looks like shit.
It looks like mesh.
It just, that was the best they said they could do in porting. It's a lot of the hair physics and stuff were done with it in their engine, so SFM can't handle it because it's not the same engine.
I mean, from a distance, it's not bad.
It works. That's all I care about. It's like a beam.
No. It looks like he just had a nose job.
What?
It looks like he had a nose job. His little beak is like sticking out.
He's going for a big smoochie.
No. Dragons, they're too ugly for smooches. Great, that's why this is good. This can come full circle. You know, you made pony smooch videos, and now you're gonna make dragon smooch videos. And they're gonna make me sad. See, because now I have Rathalos in my head doing that little bunny hop. And it's terrifying.
Actually, this probably can blend all the way back. Kinda.
Is his teeth always that dark, or is that just the shadow?
Because of the light.
It's the light. Okay, they're white. This has to open his mouth more.
Okay, so this needs to be closed more. I love this song.
I'm sure.
Some of this stuff is still not correct. I'm gonna have to open the mouth less on this, because I feel like it's not going to work for this speed. Okay, let's bring this up a little earlier. Okay, this needs to be rounded or something just to bring it back a little bit further. I think a lot of this just needs to be delayed at the end of this. This might look weird from this angle. Actually, it doesn't.
It looks weird from every angle.
Because it's not a pony.
Ah, snap. No, because he's an ugly dragon. But he's okay with that. He has a dog wife.
You know, he's gonna be like the fuck you say?
Your wife's a dog. She barks.
The fuck you see? Just getting here.
I'm gonna fight that dragon. I've had enough to drink.
The fuck you see?
You finally made it.
The fuck?
Your wife.
I'll kick your ass.
Your wife's a dog. It's true. She barks.
You call my wife a bitch?
No, never. That would be rude.
This boat has wheels.
But she does bark a lot. So
She only barks because I was lazy.
yes.
And it became funny.
It is kind of funny.
That's actually one of my favorite parts of this. It's just... and then,
That's my favorite part, yes. She's fixing the boats. She's the mechanic.
that would have been a fun title here. Instead of Bark Bark, Mechanic.
Mechanic. She's a good mechanic. She works for bones.
It's funny, it's a bark no matter whether it's forward or backwards. If it goes bark or there it goes arf.
We've cracked dog code.
Yes, bark means bark.
Bark means
They've been warning us about trees for centuries and we've
Can't
not
trust
listened.
them. Look at them.
Have you seen The Happening?
They outnumber people. Them trees.
I'm gonna eat them.
You can. It wouldn't taste very good.
Trees? Depends on the tree.
I mean, I have seen recipes for bark wine.
I mean, like some of them have like maple in it, so like it'd be like just a rough eating pancake. It'd be fine.
I mean, there isn't a lot of nutrition in bark. If you're ever like stranded in the middle of nowhere and you can't find food, tree bark. It'll keep you alive. You don't boil it. I wouldn't recommend it though. If you're ever stranded out in the woods, ideally you want to find a Burger King. You can sustain yourself on a Burger King.
That's like just reminds me of the Handyman corner where it's just like that's all the logic that they work off of, stuff like that. From the Red Green shows when I'm referencing like he was doing an oil change on a car and he didn't lift the car high enough, so he put the jack on the front and he just kept going and it kept pulling the fender off, and then he went almost to the top. He goes, might need to get a longer jack, and he just keeps going. He goes, I think got it a little bit, but the whole fender and everything came off. But then he goes and gets a cherry picker to get the engine out, but the car kept coming with it, so he took a sledgehammer to the car to try to get it off of the engine, and then when he finally got that off, he went and pulled the plug for the oil, and like 3 drops came out, and he goes, yeah, I think it was definitely due. And then he goes, yep, and so this here is the oil that we're going to be changing it out with. It just happens to also be the oil that we took out of it last time.
I love that. It's great.
And he just takes the bucket and he just like it has this teeny little hole. He doesn't even get it like a funnel. He just pours it over there and he goes and it starts just pouring out into the grass. And he says, "Oh, I think a little spilled there." And
Show was great. That show. I feel sorry for every following generation that doesn't get to watch that show. 'Cause it was wonderful.
he's doing his farewell tour. I think right this year. Actually,
So he's still doing stand-up?
yeah, but he's doing his last run right now.
Oh, that's sad.
I found an interview with him in 2019, end of 2019, and he's still just Red Green.
Yeah.
But no, I just like their humor because none of it was like about swearing or sex. It was just
Just silly.
stupid, and it was
I
great.
mean, the only thing I've been seeing him do recently is he still does the fundraiser drives for PBS.
Oh yeah, he always does those,
Yeah.
and those always still also have like unique skits that they do for those only, and it's good
I
times.
imagine he's going to keep doing those till he's dead.
Well, they were saying like, well, why would he ever retire? And he says, that retiring is to him saying that like he's unable to do it anymore. He goes, but I just want to go sit at home and say I'm done. He goes, I need to do something. Why not just keep doing this? So he keeps doing it because that's just what he wants to do. And the only reason he's going to stop stand-up isn't because he's getting older. It's because he feels like it's eventually going to get stale, and so he wants to go into other things. So
he needs to tell that to Carrot Top about stale show.
It's just what he was doing. I think that's one of the reasons they stopped
I mean,
the show.
He's great though. Like, I kind of get why they stopped the show, because I did see some of the later episodes and they were clearly running out of ideas. They started like trying to create a storyline, which is not what Red Green's about.
Well, and they had a movie.
They did?
Yeah, Duct Tape Forever. It was actually, and guess what company was one of the companies that sponsored it?
What's the duct tape company?
3M.
3M?
The one that makes duct tape.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, they said that eventually, because they contacted, in an interview, they said that they contacted 3M at one point, and they said, so, have you seen an increase in sales from duct tape because of our show? And they just said, oh yeah. So they eventually actually sponsored the show because of it. So
well, that makes sense. That definitely is the #1 show about duct tape.
It's the only show about duct tape. What other show about duct tape do you know of?
I remember this one episode I watched where they took 2 cars and they merged them into a single vehicle.
Oh yeah, he was talking about that. It was about how to make a mid-engine vehicle.
Yes.
I just watched that one.
It worked. They got 2 cars duct taped together.
Well, no, there was probably other things involved with it, but no, yeah, it was because he did the math and he goes, so the engine is 9 feet from the back of the car, but it's 4 feet from the front. So we can either move the engine to behind the driver, or we can just add 8 feet to the front. And that was
they came up with some pretty interesting projects in that show.
I love that he said the reason. So the reason those big sportsy vehicles put the engine in the middle of the car is so that it's protected in a crash from your fleshy body.
Gotta save that engine. Now I gotta go. I'm gonna immediately go up in my room after this and just watch Red Green. I think I know what my night's gonna be now.
There's so much of it, though.
Oh, there's what? How many seasons? You said 32?
No, there's I think it was almost 20.
Okay.
But I started doing that though. I went back to season 1 and I started watching it, and the first few seasons are actually hard to watch because they're just not as funny. Mm-hmm. Until they find their groove, and I think then they started getting on some good writers and stuff, and better editing. Like the one with the Adventures of Bill, where he's trying to fix his fence, and they are out there with crossbows, just shooting crossbows all over, but they have no idea how these things run. And the one guy's like, okay, so you kids at home, what he's about to do right next, please don't do. And he just takes the crossbow and he just aims at his own head, and he's like banging on it while it's loaded. But then he ended up getting sick of them doing that, so he just put up a bunch of the planks from the fence on the ground, and with the sledgehammer, and he was launching them at it with that, just because he's like, well, I don't have a crossbow, but I guess this will do. And it was just so good. Yeah. But if you've never watched Red Green, you should definitely look him up. The nice thing is it's skit comedy, so you can. A lot of the stuff that's in there, they do have the continuous stories across, but those aren't as funny as the skits. The skits are normally a couple minutes. Yeah, they're super digestible, and there's a Red Green official YouTube channel with all their stuff on it.
Yeah, you can just watch.
Yeah,
you can just watch any Red Green episode and just that random, and you'll have a good time.
Yeah, the Handyman Corner is where they go to solve a problem by using they has a slogan, if they don't find you handsome, at least they'll find you handy. And but it's always about solving the problem with duct tape, and it's not even a problem. They turned a car into a backhoe using a trash can and a thigh master. And a ladder. It was a ladder with a thigh master at the top and a trash can at the bottom and a bunch of cables, and they duct taped it all together.
The crazy thing is they actually work.
And a lot of they always worked in the end. But like the extended car at the end, he goes and parks in the garage, and he gets like halfway in, and you can see like the whole thing shake when he hits the inside of it. He gets out, like squeezing out. He's like, huh, and he just walks away. But then they have the Adventures of Bill, and the Adventures of Bill are what I want to do with this. And the Adventures of Bill are black and white, lower frame rate, looking like an old bit. They just have some classical music playing and Red Green talking over it, and it's slapstick humor because it's usually above and beyond with that. But that's what I want to do with Toby for the Keith things. I'll probably have to add other audio bits in there, but I want to do that I want to try to do that with the Adventures of Keith. There's a bunch of other types of skits, a lot of recurring characters that come back over time. And then along with the episodes, they have all the charity drives they're running on PBS where he would run them all the time and have all the characters come on. So it was always a good time.
Definitely one of the more popular shows for adults, at least, on PBS.
It's the only show I can think of that was just good, wholesome humor.
Yeah. Like,
always had me rolling. Like, it wasn't just the comedy, it was perfect timing. The Stanley something, I think is his name, but the guy who played Red Green was perfect timing. Later on, he perfected the timing for everything.
Yeah. Like,
delivery.
I think there were more influential shows on PBS, but it was definitely the best one for adults.
It was just comedy. I mean, PBS had a lot of other stuff, too.
Oh,
and it wasn't on PBS in Canada.
Yeah, it was on something else in Canada, obviously, but whatever their public broadcasting channel was, I have no idea. Yeah, even though that show was made in Canada, you'd always be doing the charity drives with PBS here in the States.
And the Red Green show was based as a parody to a Canadian show that was about a fisherman that would do all these same bits and everything, but it was about being legit with it. And so the show is just doing the same thing that he did, but where it makes no sense and it's all about duct tape.
It's all about duct tape. How you make things stay together. It's the best way to keep things together. I always keep a roll of duct tape in my car just because of that.
Because of Red Green?
No, well, I mean, you proved the point in the show.
No.
You can fix anything with duct tape.
Well, there's that the handyman flowchart. Have you ever seen that? Where it just says it goes down to what's the problem, and it says it's supposed or it's not moving or it is moving, and you go down to each one and it says it's not moving. It's like, is it supposed to not move? No, or yes, good. If it's supposed to move, then it's WD-40, and then if it's not supposed to move but it is, then it's duct tape. And it just shows them that's all you need is WD-40 and duct tape to solve all problems.
I'll tell you, I had this roll of waterproof duct tape that I got because there were holes in the floor of my car. Like, this was my old Honda Civic, and it was so old that holes had rusted through the floor of the car on the driver's side. So I could, I'd be driving down the road, and I could see the road at my feet through the hole.
I had a friend with a car like that.
In the ground. And one day, a bird got in it, in my car. It flew in through the hole in the floor or something, and it pooed everywhere. And after that, I was like, okay. And I was kind of tired of water splashing up through the hole. It was on rainy days because it was like right next to the tire. So I got some duct tape. I patched that up. Boom. I had a roof, a hole in one of the tiles of my roof. And I didn't want to get whole new tiles for my roof. So I took a piece of that duct tape. I taped it over the tile. Boom. Re-waterproofed the roof.
There's a guy I've been watching on YouTube, Jairus of All. He builds cool things, and but it's his dry comedy that I think is great. And he has this dummy with duct tape that he just covered the whole thing duct tape. He goes, yeah, when I first made it, I used really cheap duct tape. And then I realized later that the cheap stuff is a bunch of crap. And so he gets like Gorilla Tape or something now. Because one strip of this is like a whole roll. But you hear, like, you get in his hand, he'd be like that stuff was tough. But that was more waterproof and really tough stuff. So there's standard duct tape, but to me, that's not as good as some of the other stuff you can get out there for sure.
Yeah. Now the waterproof stuff, like, I even recommended it. Like, there was a bunch of my parents have a barn, and they had this old tin roof. My mom was just like, I can't afford to fix this roof, and we need a new one because the hay's getting wet. I'm like, get waterproof duct tape. She's like, what do you mean? And I went and I got the same duct tape that I used to fix my car to fix the roof on my house. And I climbed up on that barn and I patched all the holes. And she got to looking at it. She's like, this is perfect. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Where'd you learn this? PBS.
PBS, red green. But I mean, duct tapes. It can be a miracle worker in the right.
I don't have any duct tape here.
I got it in my car.
I have electrical tape and I have painter's tape, but I don't have duct tape.
I mean, I got duct tape, so and I've never not had duct tape.
I like having electrical tape because it's useful for anything with wires, but I love having painter's tape because I can just use it for anything and not have to worry about, like, oops, it's not going to come off.
I've used painter's tape just for, like, as masking tape when I was, like, shipping a box. It's probably not the best tape.
No. Well, if it's super heavy stuff, no. But if it's just light stuff, probably work fine. I just wouldn't trust it.
It's not. And you should get masking tape for that. Or duct tape. Duct tape ain't gonna come off.
Well, you got to let the person open it on the other end.
They'll figure it out. Oh, man. What else do I use duct tape for in a pinch? I've used it for so much stuff. Those are just the most notable things I can remember. Just patching up the holes in my car and roof.
Now, I had a friend whose car, he just put a board on the ground because it was like a Flintstones car. He had a hole go all the way to the floor, to the ground. And if you looked at the board, you could just see the road going. Yeah, he just put just a thin board over it. And his car was horrible. It was a Volkswagen 323 or something. It was just, and it was in horrible shape and rusted and super loud. And if you really touched anything on it when it wasn't just running fine, it would just stop working. And we were going down the road the one time. It's a back road, so we're going like 20 miles an hour. I'm like, dude, your car is a piece of crap. And he's like, no, he goes, it works pretty good as long as, like, I don't have to, like, hit the brakes hard. Right when he says that, somebody goes pulling out of their driveway, like, right in front of him. He slams on the brake, and you just hear the whole engine go, and, like, his exhaust started shooting black. And he's like, oh, God. and so we had to, like, limp it back to my house right around the block. We got it there, and my mom comes out, and she goes, I thought somebody died. And then I was realizing that sound parked in front of my house. Because she was out walking the dog and it scared the dog in the park.
Oh, my little Honda Civic, it was such a shitty car towards the end. It was a beautiful car when I got it at the age of 19. But I drove that thing up until maybe a year before I moved here. So I drove that thing from the age of like 17 to the age of 33, 32. And it was already an old car. It was 1986 Honda Civic. When I finished driving it, the muffler was held on with wires. The floor was duct taped to keep the water out. It burned a quart of oil every week. Every week I had to put a quart of oil into it. And anytime I wanted to get the tires changed for any reason, I had to go into the shop. I would tell them I would take the tire off my car myself. I just put it on a jacket tire and roll it in. Because I was told if that car ever showed up to one of their shops again, like tire discounters, they would call the authorities. Because it was not road safe. And so I would just roll the tire in and not let them see my car and put the tire back on myself. The brakes, were constantly trying, like, there was the master cylinder leaked a little bit, so I kept having to top off the brake fluid. And on rainy days, it had a hard time starting. If I could get it to start at all. And what finally made me decide to get a new vehicle is I was driving home from work, and at this point, my car wouldn't do over 60. Like, I would have the pedal to the floor, and I could not get that car to do over 60. So, I was driving on the highway, because that's super safe for this car. Doing my 60, and all of a sudden I feel the whole car just kind of shift, like something gave way, and the whole car kind of just felt lower to the ground, and I drove it home and parked it, and I'm like, this thing's gonna kill me. Something's not right. Something in the body itself had given way, and it was a few drives left before I knew the whole thing would just fall apart on the highway. Like, just fall to pieces. The wire and duct tape could only hold it together for so long. So, I got a new car. Newish car. It was a wonderful car, though. It only cost me $400. And I drove it for, 14 years. That's my car story.
Exciting.
Yes.
Thanks. A little bit of clipping on the wood there, but that's fine.
I kind of remember driving that car up to Chicago for the first windy city I went to. I drove it all the way up to Chicago. And people, before they even knew it was my car, Jay was like, whose piece of shit is that? Is that out in the parking lot? I admitted it was my piece of shit.
Check. Sorry, I'm just gonna check here because I forgot to do tongue motions. And so I'm checking if there's any that actually need it. Because if I can't see it, I don't care. Like here, though, it's boat and it's at the side, so I want to actually make sure that that can be seen.
Here's a bump.
You fixing a vacuum cleaner out of this?
Duct tape.
I would do it.
Going backwards.
I got something for you.
No, that's what I figured.
Something for you. I got something for you.
Looks like I already taken care of that one. Alright, so I think...
If anybody's actually ever fixed a duct with duct tape.
Yeah, it's not duct tape. It's supposed to be duct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's... Probably.
Well, they put the duct on the tape. It's hard to not call it duct tape.
Well, there is duct tape. It's a brand of duct
brand.
tape.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Very confusing.
So I'm not going to be able to do much on that shot right now. But I do need to fix Nergigante. So I'm a little bit worried to export him. No, actually, I think I've fixed most of the problems with him.
No, we're in Blender now.
Yeah, I need to fix that eye.
They look fine in Blender.
No, because his eye's not shut right now. So the blue is that interior eye bit.
Yeah.
See, and here I'm not seeing it clip. That's what I was going for. Mm-hmm. But I guess I'll just...
Oh, he actually can blink, or did you make him do that?
I made him do that.
It's pretty good.
Trust me, it's a mess, but I don't care about whether or not it's pretty. It's about whether or not it works for me. So really, all I have to do with this is...
Which point does his eye mess up? Oh, okay, he's clipping there.
So it looks like it's on the bottom. See, that one's not clipping now, but I know it has. So I'm going to pull that one out a little bit too. So I just need to pull... I don't care that there's that little gap right there.
Yes. A lot of polygons.
Well, it's... So all I really need to do is just... That was the bottom? Yeah, the bottom. Because I think
that's the joke for the PS5. Like, look at all the triangles. Look how many triangles we can do. Cool.
Well, a lot of it was I had to make sure because this isn't a mirrored model. So if I do motion on one side, it's not going to mirror to the other, and I don't know how to set it up to be mirrored, and I think if I do that, it might break some of the other things. So I've been doing it where I just keep on the locked location, and I just select like that, and then I'm just careful how I move things. Problem is I can't move things in and out from this type of in and out, because then that would be an inconsistent motion. The eyes did require a little bit of that. I'm not an expert in anything Blender, but I know enough to get by, and that's kind of what I've been doing.
You dabbled.
Yeah.
I pretty much only ever use Blender to convert things over to 3ds Max. So I know next to nothing about Blender.
So I think that is grabbing his eyeball, and I don't want that. There.
He has big eyeballs.
No more eyeballs. Oh. Okay, yeah, I did use that before for Rathalos, but then I had a couple of them that didn't find an equivalent, and then some of the stuff I was doing didn't transpose, so I just have to be careful on it. Oops. So I think if all I do is bring these out a little bit.
Thought that eye was okay.
But it at one point wasn't, so I'm just pulling it out a little bit just to be sure. Looks fine to me. Actually, I think it fixed some of the other back bits. Hello, Nitro. Yeah, I need to fix his eye because his eye's doing a little clipping thing here. So for the time I have left, I was just going to do that. So it's a process to get it back into SFM though. So now this is done. So I need to save this, and then I need to go to my Blender tools. I have to export. I have to export scene export because I need to get all 3 files out. Hello, Fruit Ninja. Okay, so all 3 of those are exported. So now I have to go to my tools. I'm gonna need to restart this. I'm gonna just do that now. I can go to my tools, my crowbar, and it's gonna already, since it's always gonna save the previous settings, which is great. So it's already loading the his QC, and it's already gonna export to the user mod. So I'm gonna compile because I don't need to change anything in the file itself. It's just updating a couple of the vertices. Wait for it to do its thing. One more set. There it goes. Now it's done. Now I can see if it did anything. This is like, I love when you redo textures, you can just reload the textures in there, but you can't reload a model, which sucks. So if I make any changes to models, I have to reload SFM every time.
Worse than...
Look at that.
Oh yeah. You did it. His eyes are sufficiently closed.
Oops. That was at the beginning here.
Oh, yeah!
This is the one I made new, right?
Hey, you're nearly done.
No, I made a camera somewhere, and I didn't figure out where I made it.
You might get this done before the weekend after all.
Whatever.
Maybe.
I could finish it tomorrow. No, I want to double check his face here.
Say, you need nitro?
Man, this shit's worse than...
Yes. Unit nitro.
Oh, okay, so a lot of reason... Ooh, no, it's super tedious. It's just a lot of that stuff I already had done, so it was... So the save file was already there, the QC was already prepped, and it was already preloaded into Crowbar. So for Crowbar, unless I change anything that would be touching the QCs, all I had to do to redo it is to click some of those buttons. Normally, if you want, I can go through the different steps that I would go through to convert a model from a Monster Hunter model that would pulled from the workshop to be usable for what I've been doing. If you want, I can go through all the steps. I won't, not like in detail, but show you what would be done, and it is an engaging and long, arduous process. But I have no problem showing it if you want. But yeah, I think that's good.
This shit's worse than...
Yeah, he's good. Okay, no problem. So there's still a little bit of a weird bit at the bottom of that one, but that's fine. Yeah, the problem with that process for getting the model converted is when I originally did it, it was when I learned it the first time, and that was for getting Rathalos moved over. And that was that took me like a whole week, because I need to learn what the hell I was doing. So there's a lot of learning Blender and learning how you actually get the model converted over. I mean, it took me like 2 days just of constant work just to figure out how to get it to where I could decompile and recompile it, because I didn't want to jump right into it of like decompile the model, do a bunch of changes, and then hope that it worked. So anytime I do a lot of these, it's about decompiling and then immediately recompiling it and seeing if I can get it to work right away. Because if I can't get it to work, then there's a gap or a problem early on in the process that I want to get fixed before I'm already putzing with it and messing with it down the line. So it's do some small changes and verify it works, then do some small changes and verify it works. But it's an agile mentality for sprints, for doing small little pieces at a time. But now he's fixed, that helps.
This shit's worse than teaching health class.
So he actually looks better than I thought he was going to, but I still think the lip syncing doesn't work as well for him, just because he's all teeth. But it works for what I need, so well. But yeah, I think otherwise. Okay, that was the wrong camera. So okay, there we go.
That's right. Get your asses in here. Check this out.
I'm still a little concerned with how that one's gonna look.
How about... I got something for you.
That feels better.
I got something for you. about this boat? How about this boat? Hey, here's a boat. Hey, 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 here's...
This bit of time right here, he's basically not moving.
Hey, here's a boat. Boat. Hey, here...
If you could do a quick review on the process on YouTube, that'd be great. A lot of it is like, that's why it said specific Monster Hunter, because every model is different when you pull it from something, and thankfully a lot of the Monster Hunter ones have kind of a similar skeleton to them and structure, though, because there's only like 3 people that export. So if it's just about how do I get this model out, that'd be different. And if it's also like, how do I convert a model from that doesn't exist in SFM into SFM, that's also different, because I don't know how to do armatures or anything like that. The ones that are nice for SFM is if they're already on the workshop and you export them. Crowbar is a nifty little tool when you decompile, and it will actually create the QC file based on the original compiled files. So the file you need to recompile it is already mostly created for you, which is nifty. I don't feel comfortable making a tutorial on it because I feel like I am stumbling through it to make it work, and it just happens to be that it works out in the end. I've gotten lucky. There's certain roadblocks I've hit that I've just not known how to pass. Like for instance, with Spiky Boy here, to do the lip syncing correctly for him, his mouth's base T pose is open, but that makes it really hard to do the flexes. So I wanted to change the resting pose. So I had to figure that out, which took a while, and then readjusted his resting pose to be closed. Well, I didn't have his other model bits, so you can see it's Nergante and then 1 and 2. I didn't have 1 and 2 loaded. Well, number 1 here has these bones under his jaw, or his spikes, and when I changed it, that models didn't have it changed. And then now I had 2 separate models that I could not merge easily, so it took me hours to figure out the best way to do it. And the only way I ended up being able to do it was to math out about how much I had closed the mouth and write down the numbers, then go to the other one and inversely move it by that number, hope that it was right, compile it as an SMD, then decompile it as an import back into this on top of this model, and that didn't work originally, and I can't even remember what I did to fix that. It was an entire evening just to fix that one issue. He frustrated the hell out of me. But in the end, it worked, so I guess I can't complain too much. I was determined. I spent all the time doing the flexes, and I wasn't going to redo those flexes. Oh yeah, so... So he goes down, so I can probably have him kind of start a little higher. There, that helps. He's got at least a little motion at the beginning. And his tail's moving a little bit too, so that should be fine. I think this is basically kind of done. Like, I mean, other than that last shot. Why is this, like, clause not 100% locked to it? It definitely locked to it.
Hey, here's a bug.
Probably just a rig thing. Well, no, that's just the only reason I had to do that export re-import thing was because two Blender files, at least from what I could read, couldn't be combined the way that I needed them to be. They were two separate blend files, but I couldn't get them together. So the only way I knew how to was to export as in a source file, then import it, because when you import it, you can add it into a blend file. That was the only reason I had to do some of that, and it was messy. I'm a little concerned with that leg doing this weird shifty thing, but I think it's only if I start at the end of this, so I'll hope. Okay, yeah, I was doing that review again. It's always a good idea to go through things and double check like 100 times, because as soon as you render it and you put it out, it's out there.
Hey, here's a bug. There's a bug. Hey, here's a bug. Hey, here's a bug. There's a bug. Hey, here's a bug. There's a bug. Now, bug. Whoa. Whoa. This boat has wheels.
Man, y'all shit.
This boat is... Whoa.
Oh, it's a boat. I'm like, why is that shadow like that?
Whoa. This boat has wheels.
So, here, Nitro, see if it's not just me. Do you know what this is?
Just you.
What this ship is called? Apparently, I'm the only one so far.
It's the Furry Fighter 5.
Yeah, he was calling it the Yif Wing.
Seemed appropriate.
Or, yes, he knows what it was called. Doesn't we put Ah Wing, but it's he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, cool. Take out the blue parts? Maybe.
Needs the blue parts.
The blue parts are is the pew
The
pews.
blue.
Whoa. This boat has wheels. This boat has wheels.
I tell you, that ship's full of furries, man.
I need to do his jaw twist on this one. It's amazing what that does. Also, the nice thing is I haven't had to worry about his upper left and right. This is like those Blend's eyes. I haven't had to touch them here. They add a lot of detail, but I don't have to worry about them here. And I like that.
It's the widening.
Really? Actually, you know what? I don't think I have it on here. My first video on YouTube for SFM is using a starfighter type vehicle as well, because it was to me the easiest thing to start with. It didn't have bones. It was simple, and that was the very first thing I did. So yeah, I was very similar. I thought there was a weird jump in that.
I'm gonna sleep well tonight. I am going to sleep well tonight.
Why?
Because I get to sleep in.
Nifty.
I do not sleep well on the weekdays. I don't think.
Yeah, but you also stay up till 1.
Yeah, but I don't think humans were supposed to wake up at like 7 a.m. If they were,
You're supposed to wake up when the sun comes up.
If they were, then no one would need alarm clocks.
Well, it's only because you stay up late because you
Nobody waking up at noon needs an alarm clock.
The only reason you stay up late is because you have electricity and computers that can provide you entertainment when the sun is down. We evolved to go to bed when the sun is down and wake up when the sun comes up so that we can actually see.
I need to see. The fire's for.
That's another technology.
It was a super early one.
It doesn't matter. Evolution didn't really take that into account.
Yeah, but our sleep schedule certainly did.
This wheel. This boat has wheel.
I think humans are classified as... I forget what it's the humans are classified. We're the only animal who are like classified where we can be both awake at day and night. We're not considered nocturnal or... I don't know what the opposite's called. Nocturnal. Dayturnal. I don't know. There's like a word for it.
Normal?
Oh, normal? What are you trying to say about bats, man?
Was the Arwing a pirate vessel? No, it was Star Fox's ship of choice.
It's the only ship he ever flew. The polygons changed, but the spirit didn't. It says up there.
Diurnal?
Diurnal. What is it that humans are though? Humans aren't either. Humans are considered both day and night. We just kind of sleep when we get tired, or when our schedules demand it of us.
Crepuscular?
I guess that's what it is called.
This are those that are active primarily during twilight.
Okay, that's not it then. Right.
Diurnality?
What's it say that up there?
No, that's diurnal.
Diurnal or nocturnal, it says up there. Like, there's like a... No,
what does it say?
it's right there. You're over
Where is
there.
it? Oh, it's...
The one scroll down. There you go.
Normally diurnal.
That's not what... Oh, okay. That's what it's called. It's that last word.
What? Circadian?
Circadian.
No.
Isn't that it?
No, your circadian rhythm is why you get tired in the afternoon. Because you're on a your cycle normally goes...
Some people aren't just night owls, so not everybody's that. Like, I mean,
to a
not
degree,
everybody's
but there's a lot of factors in it than just genetics.
Yeah, I think humans are classified.
You're just trying to give an excuse for the fact that you never go to bed until 1:30 and then just force yourself
tired
up.
Until 1 o'clock.
Because you stop looking at the computer screen till 1 o'clock. You're stimulating your brain to where yes, you don't want to go go to bed because there's things your brain is interested in.
I don't think if I tried going to bed before 11, it just would not happen.
It's like saying like, well, it's like I feel like crap every day. Well, maybe stop eating like shit for breakfast. Like, but I've always ate shit for breakfast. I can't stop that now. Something else has to be the cause. It's just normal.
I'm not saying something else is the cause. I'm just saying it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna continue eating shit for breakfast, or whatever the analogy is.
Turn it a little bit here, but I don't want to turn it too much because I kind of lose the... Yeah. I'll keep it like that.
I would give input, but it's 3 a.m. here. Well.
I'm wondering if it matters that it's clipping on this saddle.
Pony.
This is the stuff like... This is one of the reasons that I don't like to... release a video without taking some time to look it over and then sitting on it for a day, because there's just always something that can be changed or something that can be looked over, and yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get rid of all that.
Well, you're gonna miss something, and then it's gonna like haunt you because that's what happens.
Yeah, so I'm gonna so I'm gonna look at the a whole fuckload. There's in this part too. I did put a nuclear symbol, and then there's this thing just gooping. I put that in it when I finished him. That's been there for a while.
Yes.
That's cool to see new shit.
I thought about doing that in some of these other shots, but I didn't know what else to put. That was a nice, easy one. Yes.
Man, y'all should have come. It was so much fun.
7 atom bombs sitting in a corner. Like, no.
This shit's worse than teaching health class.
Not safe.
Like all these guys are like well animated and like super detailed and like eye movement and everything, and then just like I can't even make her blink.
No.
So
it would take away.
No, I can't.
Oh, you can't.
She doesn't. I never added those. No, the only bones she has in her entire face for controls are the same as Rathalos, to where I can grab these. Look at that. Where'd the bone go? Oh, because probably the rig. Unless she does. No, she has those. No, she has her normal like front jaw and the back one here. And then the jaw open close. That's it. And I can make her eyes turn left and right. By the way, she can't close her eyes. She has no lip control. She has only a single bone for the tongue, I think. It's actually, I don't even think she has that because apparently it's not popping up on this. Oh no, it's not popping up on the list because of this. Because she doesn't have named bones either. So yes, there, now I can see them. So yeah, she has the ones up here. I can do that. But that's it. And then,
no, you left her tongue in.
yeah, that's the tongue.
Gross.
But yeah, that's it for her. And none of the bones are named. That was a multi-hour process to get all those corrected on Rathalos. So to get her to a position where I'd be able to get the lip stink and stuff added would just take hours of work. The reason I've been using Nurgata and Toby is because I had added rigs to them like months ago in preparation for stuff, and then I just never went forward with the lip syncing. So when I needed 2 to use lip syncing for, they already had all their bones named and they already had their rigs made. So it was just about getting their facial stuff. They were the quickest ones to add in. Maybe not the best choice for stuff, but then like here and here, I just loaded up and didn't care. So, and I do not want to use this model for anything because the long legs, I could get a rig to work, but it would be difficult to animate compared to like Toby, where he's already kind of flat and splayed to the ground, meaning I'd have a lot of flexibility on where I can toss him left and right and forward and backwards on the rig. Well, with the horse, I would have to, there'd be weight displacement. So if I push him too far forward, he would have to put a leg forward to hold himself. So I don't want to do that. Nonetheless, I should be able to finish this weekend. I'll see if I can get it finished tomorrow. Because if I can get it out like Sunday, that'd be great.
So what does that mean for Tuesday?
Oh, for stream? Gonna do another Rathalos one. No, I'm gonna go back. I need to finish that other like side toy one. So that's the goal. That's actually the one thing too. So I had added all those subscriber bits to the stream, but they're all pony. But when I'm doing Monster Hunter stuff, I actually want to make ones that are Monster Hunter focused. But I don't know exactly what I want to do with that yet. I was thinking about having Rathalos pop up with actual audio. But yeah, no, I'm gonna finish it. It's almost done.
Just like all those other videos you never finished.
But this one actually is mostly green. I've never gotten this far in a video and not finished it.
Oh, I'm talking about the side toy one.
Oh, no, that one will be finished. That one just scares me because of how far I've gotten through it without adding audio. Or without adding music or background. Because right now it feels extra silent. And like in here, without the music going in the background, it changed timing and it made the random Rathalos bits that felt so scattered felt better collected. But if I don't have anything like that for the sideswipe one, then it's still going to feel like scattered audio, and the timing is going to feel off, and that's what it feels like to me. So I want to find the audio, but if I do that, it's probably going to change drastically some of the timing in there. So that's what worries me, but whatever.
It's got coupons. It'll be fine. You can boot them.
Okay, yeah, if you want to send it over, you can. If you want, I can pull up this. I mean, trust me when I say that, like, this was my first video. The first, am I in the right account? Yeah. The first, I had a brain fart is where I needed to go here. That was still the wrong, no, there we go. The first, like, probably 4 to 5 videos I did, or maybe more, actually probably a good first dozen, were about learning. So I knew that it was going to be complicated to learn a lot of this stuff. So while I was downloading it, I was watching tons and tons of tutorials. To familiarize myself with the interface. Then I started just simple with a static model, and then I started moving up to copying GIFs or pictures or GIFs that people had made. I started very, very low and tried to work myself up from that basic thing. So I have to go through multiple pages on here.
Yeah, I'm about ready to tell you something that I probably have. I'm a little ashamed to admit. I've never watched that one Derpy video all the way through.
Destiny? Well, yeah, because she gets in the trash can.
I have not watched. I've legit not watched it all the way through.
So
because it came out after I started watching you, and I only ever watched all your new videos.
Oh, it came out before.
Yeah, it came out before.
Yeah, because I think I finished that. That was my first year.
Yeah,
I finished that one. No, this is my very well. Okay, so this is actually. Let me. Where is the audio? I'm gonna close this because it might not actually play on YouTube. Yeah, so I had to cut the audio out. But yeah, so this is my very first video I ever did in SFM, and this took me like I think 5 hours on a Saturday, and now I could make this in probably like 25 minutes because I just know the interface and everything now. But yeah, that was the first thing I did was just fly a spaceship because it was static and it was easy and it was simple. Great way to learn. If you actually go back to my like early channel,
it's the same map used for the Rathalos where he's cold.
A lot of the stuff I had was playing with M-Gear and Ace Online models. So that was actually what got me into learning Source originally, was playing with converting these models from an OBJ format to Source format, learning how to build custom hitboxes, and then getting them ported into Gmod. All that knowledge I learned from doing that helped me immensely when I moved to SFM. Yes, spaceship.
I do remember seeing that Scootaloo Rainbow Dash one all over the place though when I first started following the fandom.
But that's also based on somebody else's picture.
Yeah, but it was your picture I kept seeing all over the place. Or a GIF of your
my channel blew up very quickly once I started posting stuff. I got lucky on timing. So it just worked out well for me. But if you go really, really far back on my channel,
you got your doggo.
There is like all these like stupid music videos.
Dragon Ball Z music. Yeah, tell me you like Dragon Ball Z.
This was I uploaded this in 2007.
We should watch Dragon Ball Z together.
This was 13 years ago.
You don't like Dragon Ball Z anymore?
I
can watch Super.
I've already watched all of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Super is pretty good.
And I watched all of Dragon Ball GT.
Gross.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. It
had
some
good
moments, but
the Baby Saga was okay. Everything after that was meh.
We don't have
Everything
all these
leading up to the Baby Saga was also meh.
I used to have fun making music videos and for games. That was one of my things of learning how to do editing way back. And I used to play Gears of War competitively, like just for some friends, but we did like play matches against people. And I had a tutorial in here how to do rooftops because that was I had a broken method on how to beat that. Some of the Ace Online bits. So it's just stupid stuff back from way back. But everything that I did taught me something that got me to that I've used today. Like a lot of that Ace Online stuff, I learned how to port the models, which we used for when I came to SFM. I also built a website for it that used a calculator that I learned HTML programming for, that I went to college for, and then now my current job relies on. So it's all the gaming I did when I was younger. I tried to take something out of it to build myself to do a better person, and it worked out. So yeah.
And here we are today.
Yes.
Precipice.
Look at this. The pinnacle of
This is the height
of creativity.
Dragon selling boots.
So yeah, this one will be done soon. Real soon. I will need to probably put something small together because I have a contest that I want to run. I have 3 like little Rathalos plushies, the little chibi ones, and I was going to do a giveaway back in like March, right when the COVID thing happened. So I didn't do that and I've been delaying it. So once this comes out and there's a small reinvigoration of that Twitter account, I want to run that and have those 3 to give away. But more on that later. Anyway, I am done for tonight.
So, Derpy? Derpy replace Cat?
No, it's still Cat.
I mean, I wouldn't want you to change it, honestly.
Derpy is the icon of when I'm offline.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, she's streaming me more than I am.
I used to tell you, like, in the streams, like, when Derpy came up, I still keep typing, like, the best part of the show.
When it's over.
When it's over and Derpy comes back. Be like, Derpy.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, guys. We're hopefully having that Discord up publicly for everybody in the next couple days, maybe. But if you want access, just say something. I can pass you a link right now because I've been letting people on Twitch get in. Yeah, have a good weekend and stuff.
Enjoy Derpy when she comes up. She's the best part of the whole show.
No, that is this part of the show.
Kitty's pretty good too.
Kitty's a good part.
Meow.
So, bye-bye.